Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make eggs Benedict without any calories. And this is part of my Never Grow Old series from my book Never Grow Old, and I'm putting together a Never Grow Old recipe book of the nutritional food that I eat that is healthy, has very little or no calories, no salt, none of the additives that you find in other meals. And again, this book, Never Grow Old in Mind, Body, and Spirit, can be purchased at booksgaloreandmore.com. So now today we're going to make Eggs Benedict a la Sylvia. And this is how I make my eggs, and you'll find that it's nutritious, and it actually helps to feed more than one person the way I fix it. So here we go. First you turn the pot on, of course, and you put a little bit of water in, just enough water to cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, not much more than that. And you let that water heat up. Okay, you let it get nice and hot, and you'll know it's hot because you'll see it boiling. Okay, now as the water begins to heat up, you're going to take just a little bit of butter, not much. I usually buy it to take the stick, and I put it in there, and that keeps the pan from sticking. So you let the butter melt in the pan. Okay, you might want to stir it around. Right now we have the flame at high speed, as high as it can go. Okay. Okay. And just let it, now it's beginning to melt. Okay, chop it up in little pieces. Now what I do is I take 2 slices of cheese, 2 different slices, and you can use any cheese that you would like. And I put 1 slice there in the pan, and this has a little jalapeno in it. You can't really eat this by itself unless you like jalapeno, because I don't really like jalapeno cheese. But I put it in the eggs, because then it gives you that that spice, that little kick. Okay, so now it's at high speed, and now it's melt the cheese. You can put in as much cheese as you want, depending on how many people you're feeding. Okay, but this meal that I'm preparing here will probably feed 2 to 3. Okay, so you want to, swish it up a little so you separate it so it has a better chance of melting and being evenly distributed. Okay, oops. Okay, so now I've got that, and it's not quite melted yet. And I got a little onion. I chopped up my onions, and I'm going to put my onions in there. Okay, and I'm going to let it all cook down. But for seasoning, you can put seasoning in there if you like. I'm going to use Italian seasoning, and I'm going to use garlic powder. Okay, not going to put too much in there. And I sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder in there evenly. And then I sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning in there. No salt at all. No salts. I don't cook with salt ever. Okay, so now we're going to let that simmer. And as that's simmering, you'll be surprised at the aroma that spreads through the house. Okay, so you don't want the onions to cook till they're too soft either. You want them to be a little bit crispy. So I would say you can let it cook for not even a minute. Maybe a minute or 2, but you have to be the judge, because you'll feel the, oh Lord. Okay, so now we're going to let this simmer down. Okay, I'm going to let it just a little bit. Okay, now I may have put too much water in, so you might have to measure your water. This is going to feed more people than, but not necessarily, because you have to wait to see how it turns out. Depends on how many eggs you like, actually. Okay. So now we're ready to put our eggs in. And I like mine lightly cooked. I don't really even like them scrambled. I just like them lightly cooked. So this is how I do it. In this meal, I'm going to put 3 eggs in here. 1, 2, and 3. 2 items you're going to need. You're going to need a regular spoon and a spatula, or a pancake turner like we used to call them. Okay? Now you wait and let the eggs, you don't move the eggs at all, you just let them do their thing. But what you do is you just sort of poke a hole in the yolk to give it a little, if it's not already. Okay? So now you let it cook, you just let it boil at high speed. Because this is the way I like my eggs. Normally, another way you can do it is just to mix the eggs up. Just scramble them all up together as they're cooking. Once you put them in, you could begin to just scramble and mix it all together, but I don't like to do it like that. So now, you can tell the egg whites are getting hard around the yolk. Okay. Now I don't want to really disturb the eggs too much, because see, I like mine soft, but I don't always like them, or sometimes I like them over easy or lightly scrambled, but I like them soft. Okay, so now in this case, I'm going to take my spatula and my pancake turner, and I'm going to try to flip the egg. It doesn't always work. What I'm doing is covering up the egg. I'm trying to turn it over. Turn that yolk over a little bit. Okay, so there, I was successful with that. So now, it's on the other side. Okay. Still not scrambled though, if you notice. Okay. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to mix together. Now I'm going to mix it. I'm not scrambling, I'm just sauteing it. Okay. I'm not scrambling. Bring this back a little bit. Okay, I'm just scrambling it a little bit. I mean, not sauteing it, not scrambling. Okay, in this case you may have a little excess. Now look at how much of a meal that is. This whole pot is a meal. You know. So now it's cooked about where I want it. Okay, it may have had a little bit too much water in it. Okay. Make sure those egg whites, okay. So now turn it off and I let it still sit for a second. Because remember, the thing is still hot, even though the flame is gone. So it's going to lightly, very lightly cook. Okay. It's going to still continue to cook. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit off of here and taste it. Now this is eggs, no calories, no salt, nothing at all. Now we're going to taste this delicious meal to see if it's going to come out right. It looks good. It's a little hot. Delicious non-caloric eggs. But I said it's hot. Eggs Benedict a la Sylvia, part of my Never Grow Old series. Never Grow Old, available on Books Galore and more. Never Grow Old in body, mind, and spirit. And this is part of my Never Grow Old cookbook. Holla, sister.